Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. And the topic of today's video is going to be magic. And I don't mean the type of magic where someone pulls a rabbit out of their hat or the disappearing woman magic. I'm not talking about that kind of magic. I'm talking about metaphysical magic, spell working. So let's get into it. Well, hold on. Before we get into it, could you do us a favor and hit that little like or subscribe button? That would be awesome. But anyhow, back to magic. What is magic? We get asked that question a lot. What is magic? How does it work? Can I do it? Magic in and of itself is simply focused will, focused intent, sent out into the universe to help to manifest a specific goal or desire. That's all it is. Focused will and focused intent. And that energy comes from the practitioner, and that is the main ingredient in magic. All of the other things that you add to your spells, like herbs and oils and crystals and sigils and runes and whatever the case may be, add to that energy, add to that intent. But the real power stems from the person themselves, and anyone can practice magic. It doesn't matter what your spiritual path is. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It just doesn't matter, because it is a result of a person's own will and desire. Now, a couple of things that really make your own magic and your own spell work effective and will make it more effective is the amount of emotion that you put into your spell work. You have to really feel and identify and want that specific goal, that specific desire to make it effective. If you are kind of blasé about it and you really don't care one way or the other, then why are you doing the spell? If it really doesn't matter to you and you can't drum up the energy and the emotion to put in that spell, then maybe you don't need to be doing that spell. Maybe you're okay right where you're at. The second thing that is really important in magic is the ability to visualize the end result. You want to be able to see in your mind that goal that you're setting out there. So let's say you are doing a spell to find a better job. You want to be able to, in your mind, visualize yourself sitting in a new job, being successful, making money, enjoying what you do. So visualization, being able to visualize your end goal, absolutely needed in spell work. So, really important basic components in magic and spell work: visualization, emotion, and being able to manifest with your will and intent what you want to happen. So, that's the square one right there. That's the foundation of magic. That's the basics of magic. All right. So we've talked about a little bit, I think I mentioned it, the types of magic out there. Now, when we're talking about the different specific types of magic, let's say, for example, candle magic or crystal magic or herbal magic or whatever the case may be, the tools that you're utilizing within your spell work carry specific energies. So, for example, rose quartz. Rose quartz coincides with love, coincides with emotion, coincides with your heart. So if you're doing love magic, you want to make sure that the things that you're including all have those same kind of vibrations. So rose quartz, rose hips, rose petals, jasmine, all of these things that carry those love vibrations are things that you're going to want to include in your spell work, in your ritual. So you don't want to do a love spell and use money herbs. You don't want to do a love spell using a money candle, a green candle. You want to make sure that the things that you're adding into your spell work all have the same kind of energy vibrations. So that's important. Do you need all of that? No. But as a practitioner, as a spell worker, those things help to give you more focus and kind of ties it all together. It's like taking a recipe for cooking and putting all these ingredients together, mixing them up, letting them cook, and letting the end product manifest. So that's kind of like what you're doing. You're coming up with your own specific recipe on how to manifest a certain goal, a certain desire. Okay. Something else, and it may seem kind of like obvious, but a lot of people forget about it, is when you're working magic and you're doing spell work, you need to be proactive and you need to be practical. The practicality part about it is so, so important, and people forget about it. Now, when I'm talking about being practical, I'm talking about, let's say you want more money in your life. And you're like, okay, you know what? I am going to set out to do some money magic. Do not expect to do your money spell and suddenly win the lotto. It does not work that way. If it did, every magical practitioner that I know would be rich, living in mansions, and living that kind of lifestyle. It does not work that way. So you have to make sure that your goals are practical. If you want if you want a new love in your life and you do a love spell, you have to understand that, some guy isn't just going to come knocking on your door and say, you know what, I saw you on the street, you're gorgeous, I want to date you. It doesn't work that way. So keep a practical mindset when you're working your spells. You have to be proactive. You can do all of the spell work that you want for months, days, months, years, whatever it may be. But if you don't be proactive in how you interact with your universe, you're not going to be successful. What I mean is, like, if you're out there and you want a job, but you're not out there putting out resumes and you're not out there really looking for that job, a job is not gonna just manifest out of thin air. And so you have to be practical and you have to be proactive. That's the way magic works. If you want something to set in motion, then you have to take the steps to start that. No amount of magic is going to do the work for you, plain and simple. It just doesn't work that way. I wish it did. It would make everybody's life a lot easier, but unfortunately, it doesn't. Something that people do when they're first starting spell work, and it's really not the best of practices, is they do their spell work and then they obsess about it. And they're like, is it working yet? Is it working yet? They go back and check the candle. They keep obsessing over this working that they're doing, when it's much better to set that spell, send out your intention, and then forget that you've even done the spell. If you're doing your spell for 3 days, then keep your focus for those 3 days and then forget about it and move on. And wait for the universe to start manifesting that energy, manifesting that will, manifesting that desire that you have set in motion. So set it and forget it. Plain and simple. Now, there's questions that I've been asked, and one of them is really kind of common, surprisingly enough, is, can I reverse a spell that I've done? Let's say you get really angry at someone and you decide that you're going to curse them. And then the next day you wake up and say, wow, I was not thinking clear. I should not have done that. Can I take that spell back? No. Other people may disagree with me, but in my experience, and I've been doing this for close to 30 years, if not longer, you cannot reverse a spell. If you have set intention out into the universe, it is almost impossible to pull it back in and stop it. So if you've done something against someone, or you've done a spell that you want to stop, what you're going to have to do is do another spell to mitigate the outcome that you are worried is going to happen. So again, let's say go back to the cursing someone. So you curse someone, you immediately regret it, and now you want to pull it back or stop it. You can't do that. You're going to have to protect that person that you've just cursed. So can you stop a spell that you've already set in motion? No. So when we're talking about the energy we've set out and not being able to reverse the spell, this, that, and the other, yeah, you can soften the blow, if you will. And that brings into mind karma. Karma, karma, karma. There's many different types of karma out there. When it comes to magic, there is the Wiccan threefold law, do what thou will, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. I'm not Wiccan, but it doesn't mean that I don't think very carefully about my actions if I do spell work. So you really have to keep that idea of, if I do something, do I really need this bad karma? So think about it, that especially comes into play when people are talking about directing love spells at a particular person. The easiest way, and something to think about, is, okay, would I want this done to me? Would you want someone that you did not love, that you did not want to be with, forcing you into or back into a relationship? Would you want that? So when it comes to doing like love spells and things like that, you really, really have to be careful that you're not forcing someone into a situation that they don't want to be in. Because that is going to bring down all kinds of negative situations and bad karma. It just is. It can't be avoided. So be very careful, very specific about how you are sending that energy out into the universe. That's a big one when it comes to spell work. There are questions, people wonder, if I do spell work, am I working with something evil or demonic? No. Unless you're a demon or something like that, you're not working with anything demonic. Excuse me. Demonic. Yeah, I got it. It simply goes back to what magic is. It's focused will. It's your intent sent out into the universe to manifest a specific goal or desire. So, these are the basics of what magic is and how it's effective and what it does. So I hope that you've gotten a little bit of insight from this video. And we're going to be expanding more on magical techniques, candles, crystals, this, that, and the other in upcoming videos. So again, I hope that you will hit that like or subscribe button, and we can catch y'all later. I hope you have a good one. Bye.